very important to hire. I mean, anytime you're paying a guy $2 million and you decide to replace him, I think the next guy that you get, I think it's important that you get the right guy. So yeah, I think it's important, and I know that the hottest name amongst Tennessee fans in terms of the conversations that we're having, Ryan Walters spoke on the rumors that
Yeah.
he is connected to the Tennessee defense coordinator job, and I don't take what he said. I don't care what he said. All of it. When it comes to this stage of the game, when coaches are talking about other jobs, I don't believe anything they say, Josh. Until they say, I am not going. And even that, I'm kind of like, well, Nick Saban said that too. So, Josh Heupel, um, if he says Josh Heupel and him have not talked, then I believe it. That doesn't mean that they won't talk. It could mean they won't talk, but it doesn't mean that they won't talk. So, um, there's a lot of things for Josh Heupel to get done, to do. But, and I know he keeps these things really close. He has his own way of going about things. All we care about, or all I care about, is making sure the right defense coordinator is hired, and the defense is better next year. So we could have a pool of 20 candidates. There could be reports of him talking to 5 or 10 or 15. Doesn't matter to me, as long as when the hire is made, that guy is the right guy.
Walters is getting ready to coach on Saturday as Washington will play against Boise State out in L.A. in the Bucked Up L.A. Bowl.
The what? What'd you
The
say?
Bucked Up L.A. Bowl.
Man, I mean, you gotta watch your mouth on these airways, Josh.
You do have to be careful sometimes.
You gotta watch your mouth, Josh. I thought you almost slipped up, sir.
No. This is
No,
trying
no,
to get
no,
details
what?
on it, but the Bucked Up Energy. Yeah. I think Gronk is also involved with the game
Oh,
this Saturday.
is he gonna be there spiking stuff?
I think that might be the case because it's described as the Bucked Up LA Bowl hosted by Gronk.
Well,
Which is intriguing. But they're done on Saturday. So you're right. The comments from Ryan Walters tell me nothing.
nothing.
He acknowledged working with Josh Heupel, said, he said it's easy to connect the dots. So he understands why his name would be in the mix. He's also said he's had zero communication with anybody over there regarding any kind of job. But he also said, talking about Washington, the program in Seattle, I enjoy Seattle. My family lives here. I love it here. That's where we're at right now.
Hey,
Now is right
he
now.
said nothing.
Nothing.
He said his family lives here. Well, what the hell? Where else they supposed to live?
Yeah.
So that's not saying anything. Saying
Yeah,
that
they have moving companies that help if they decide to move somewhere else.
he said nothing that said that he's not going to be defense coordinator at Tennessee. He said nothing that said he was going to be the defense coordinator at Washington next year. Josh Heupel could have said, you know what, I'm going to respect Walters, and I'm going to talk to him after their bowl game because I understand how hard it is to have your mind in two different places. So there's no rush for us. We have our signing class. The portal doesn't open until January. I got some time, and I'll talk to Walters when the time is right, and that could be Saturday after the game. So we are vets in the game at this, Josh Ward. What Walter said means nothing yet.
Also doesn't mean he will become the defense coordinator. He might, he might not.
Yeah, doesn't mean he will be. Doesn't mean he won't be. I will say, I want my man over there, Georgia. I want him to tell us no.
T-Rob?
I want T-Rob to tell us no. But according to the Hotboard 3.0, according to VolQuest.com, I mean, he's not even on the list anymore. But I would love for him to say no, because T-Rob is intriguing to me.
Yeah, Walters remains on the hot board 3.0. Jim Knowles is on there from Penn State.
He's at the top.
Yep. Colin Hitchler from James Madison.
Are these alphabetical order?
No.
So what does that mean? That Jen knows on the top.
It means you'll read his name before you read the other names unless you bounce around.
Ah, okay.
It would get very confusing.
Good point.
Clayton White from South Carolina is on there.
Okay.
The defense coordinator and inside linebackers coach for the Gamecocks, has been since 2021.
Okay.
Corey Batoon at Missouri. He's in his second year as defensive coordinator. Talked about him a little bit, but he replaced Blake Baker 2 seasons ago when Baker went to LSU.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the 3.0 list right now at VolQuest. Eric Kane writing that up.
All right, Eric. The list is changing. I remember the last time Tennessee was hiring a defense coordinator. It wasn't an overnight process. I remember the last time Tennessee was hiring their last assistant coach. It wasn't an overnight process, and Darrell Sims. So I'm not expecting anything different. The offense tempo might be fast, but Heupel's hiring process is not.
We're asked in the text box, when does Jeremy Pruitt coach his bowl game?
He's helping Jacksonville State.
Yeah, they play on Tuesday in the IS4S Salute to Veterans Bowl against Troy.
Can we stop with the Jeremy Pruitt stuff? The dude only became the coach of Tennessee because we paid him a lot of money. He is a Bammer for life. He grew up as a Bammer. He's from Alabama. He is a Bama fan, deep down to his core. He has Bama lawyers suing the University of Tennessee, trying to take us to task. Please stop embarrassing yourself talking about Jeremy Pruitt. I don't hear nothing about Jeremy Pruitt being defense coordinator at Tennessee or ever being associated with the University of Tennessee in the future. Have some pride. Have some dignity about yourself. You gonna let some stranger come into your house and slap your wife and eat all your groceries and sleep in your bed and drive your car and put his feet on your coffee table too?
Swain, if you allow me to quote the great Rocky Balboa,
Adrian.
If I can change and you can change, everybody can change. Did you ever think about that?
Everybody can change?
Mm-hmm.
Do I believe that? No, I don't believe that, Josh. Was that real life or was that a movie?
I like to think that it was real.
No, it was a movie, Josh.
Still real to me.
It wasn't real because ain't no way in heck Rocky taking them real hits in real life and being able to get up off the mat the way he was able to get off the mat in that movie.
If it wasn't real, why is the statue up in Philly? Somebody ran those steps.
Philly is trying to run out their quarterback who just won a Super Bowl a couple months ago, Josh.
I saw Sirianni had to answer the question today. Is there a scenario you could bench Jalen Hurts? You mean the guy that's taken us to 2 Super Bowls, including the one we won last year? No, he's going to continue.
Yeah, the guy that was a Super Bowl MVP the last time, a couple months ago when he won Super Bowl, and then the last time you played in the Super Bowl was the best player on the field who outplayed Patrick Mahomes. You mean that
we're
guy?
still in the same calendar year in which he won the Super Bowl.
So, Josh, please don't use any Philadelphia logic on this program because you know it doesn't always connect. Josh, I got time today.
Okay.
I got time today for your slickness. You trying to be slick. I got time for you today, buddy.
We'll have time for your calls and texts, 865-656-9900. Join us. You can call or text. What do you think about the defensive coordinator search? What do you think about Tennessee football and what you would like to see with 3 weeks to go in 2025, headed toward 2026? We'll be with you until 3 o'clock this afternoon. We are presented by Junk Beyond, East Tennessee's junk removal specialist. Jason Swain is here, a VFL and former Tennessee wide receiver. I'm Josh Ward. This is Josh and Swain. Hey, it's Josh. I want to tell you about Amish Elegance Fine Custom Furniture. Great family-owned business located at 613 North Campbell Station Road, right off the interstate in Farragut. When you stop in at Amish Elegance, you can check out their 4,200-foot showroom floor with so many different options, so many different ideas for how they can help improve your living space at your home, how they can help improve your office space. If you would like to improve or you're planning for children's room, they can help you with any type of furniture that you might need there. Everything from Amish Elegance is bench made. The furniture is handcrafted, and everything can be built to be unique for what you are looking for in a beautiful piece of furniture. The difference in the furniture that you find at Amish Elegance is in the quality. When you stop by and see their showroom, you can see and feel the difference. They have great options for you located in the showroom. They can also build exactly what you need. When you design something at Amish Elegance, they hand the plans over to the families they work with, the Amish families they work with, to build that furniture for you. It will be delivered with care. Stop by 613 North Campbell Station Road. Tell them the Sports Animal sent you, or go online to AmishElegance.com. This is Josh and Swain. Thank you for being with us. Jay Swain on a heater. Get him, says one texter in the text box.
Oh,
865-69900.
What I say? Huh?
My takeaway last segment is that you are leaning toward a no on Jeremy Pruitt as a candidate for Tennessee's defense coordinator position.
Oh yeah, that one. Yeah, I mean every word of that. I don't hear nothing about no Jordan Pruitt ever being associated with the University of Tennessee, ever.
David asked, who has been our best defense coordinator since John Chavis? Is it Justin Wilcox? I mean, he's up there for sure. He was here for 2 seasons under Derek Dooley, just finished as the head coach at Cal, was let go after a solid run there, I would say, with the Bears.
Golly,
I
man.
mean, who have been the defensive coordinators? I'll miss somebody, but you had Wilcox. I don't think Sunseri is the best they've had since then.
No.
I mean, the best. I don't know for Tennessee in that one season. The best is Monty Kiffin, but it was 1 year. It was a rebuilding time. So what he did in that one season would not qualify. But in terms of career accomplishments, the late Monty Kiffin would be the answer. But John Jancic, it's not Bob Shoop in terms of what he did while he was at Tennessee. That would not be the answer. Obviously, Tim Banks has been the defense coordinator the last 5 seasons. So I don't know how you would view that. I mean, Jeremy Pruitt he's in charge. He's the head coach. He's in charge of what they're doing on that side.
What's crazy
I don't think that would be the answer.
what's crazy is Josh, you named a bunch of guys who were better before they got here and was
Yeah.
better after they left. So like Bob Shoop was a good defensive coordinator,
Yeah.
but he just wasn't here because of the head coach. The head coach sets the thermostat of the program. Okay, they set the tone, and Stoops wasn't able to be the best that he could be because Butch Jones just wasn't good at that moment during his time at Tennessee when Shoop was here. Then you have Monty Kiffin, who I thought could have been really good, but man, I think the game kind of passed him by a little bit at the collegiate level. He had some trouble with some of the offenses, but overall track record, overall resume. I mean, yeah, he was the most decorated defense coordinator, and then we don't even need to talk about Sunseri. I think Wilcox was really good. We saw him do more with less. I mean, the personnel wasn't good enough, the talent wasn't good enough, but we saw how he was able to work some magic, kind of like what Tim Banks had to do, early in his tenure here at Tennessee. So we just haven't had elite defensive coordinator consistently since John Chavis. Just haven't, and that's what we're seeking. That's what we are searching for. That's what you're trying to get if you're Josh Heupel. That makes your job a whole lot easier.
Tennessee also needs more elite talent on the defensive side.
Really?
I think that's important.
It starts with that, doesn't it?
I do believe so.
I believe so too. I believe so too. As we're honoring John Henderson and an amazing career that he had at Tennessee and what he did at the NFL level, I think it's a reminder of how important that position is and how good Tennessee's teams were when he was here. It starts there. It starts there. You're not going to win and play defense the way you need to play defense if you don't have a stud in that position. I don't care how good you are quarterback, how good you are safety. It starts at D tackle. You got to have a dude there. And Tennessee had some pro prospects at that position last year. You had Omar Norman-Lott, who's playing for the Kansas City Chiefs. They thought he was good enough to bring him to their organization, and you missed him. And this is what we do to try to make ourselves feel good about a guy leaving and graduating. We're like, oh man, we'll be good. We'll replace him. Man, it's hard to replace good players. It's hard to replace pro players, and that was a big issue for us this year trying to replace Omar Norman-Lott. Man, he was severely missed. His toughness, he was borderline like Derek Barnett, where he can get a 15-yard penalty at any moment. But man, that toughness was the reason why this Tennessee's defense was a whole lot better last year and one of the best in the league. But yeah, man, it's just time for us to get back to playing some not just elite defense, but just some bullying type of defense where like we dictate what's going on. Like we're not on our heels. We're not just trying to let's just try to stop you when you get to the red zone. Let's try to force a field goal. Man, forget that bend but don't break stuff. Let's bend and break the offense. Like I want that to be our mentality moving forward. We might give up some yards, but let's just force them to kick a field goal. Nah, man. I want to be top 5, top 3 in the SEC at yards allowed and points allowed. Get nothing around here. We give you nothing.
Evan texted and said, I'd be happy with anybody that coaches tackling and angles.
Well, it doesn't matter if you have a guy that comes in who is an expert at tackling, coaching, and coaching angles. If you're not physical in practice, then you're not going to be physical in the game. That's a Josh Heupel decision, guys. Josh Heupel's the one who decides whether we're going to be physical in practice or not. Josh Heupel's the one who decides, are we hitting today? Are we in pass today? What is the structure of practice? That the hire has to be good from a coaching standpoint, but the mentality is that's on Heupel, man. Like you can bring in the toughest son of a gun at defensive coordinator, but he's not the head coach. The head coach set that tone. Like I saw some people like, hey, can we hire some a member of the defensive staff at Oklahoma? Hey, man, that's Brent Venables. That team plays like Brent Venables' mentality. So unless that guy has the same mentality as Brent Venables, if you're looking for the same type of results, I don't know if you're going to get that. So tackling, toughness, all that stuff, man, I think that's on Heupel, along with your defense coordinator. It ain't just the defense coordinator, which is why I go back to saying just because you fire your defense coordinator doesn't mean that all is fixed defensively. All is fixed. Like there's more to it. That's a good step if you get the right guy, because you can fire Tim Banks and get someone that's worse than Tim Banks. We've seen that happen in Tennessee when we fired Coach Fulmer and got someone who ultimately was worse than Coach Fulmer because he didn't stay here. So it's not the fact that firing a dude is the right or wrong decision. It's who you replace that guy with that makes that decision right or wrong.
Eddie texted in, not bend, don't break, but break their spirit.
Yes.
From Tennessee's defense.
Was that? Yeah, Eddie. That's what I'm talking about, Eddie. Like, it's like when there's an issue at your house, right? When something needs to be replaced and you make the decision to replace it, you don't replace it with the used part. You replace it with something that's a little bit better. You're like, hey, man, if I'm going to fix it, I might as well just go ahead and fix this thing and have it the way I want to have it. If we're going to fix this defense, let's go ahead and fix it the way that we want to have it, the way we know it needs to be. Let's get a defense coordinator that's going to bust some heads to the white meat. We want offenses afraid of us. I don't want to be playing on our heels like we on skates. I don't want to be winning games. I do like winning games, but always depending on the offense to outscore defenses. And Coach Heupel talking about, hey, this is the place of Reggie White, Al Wilson, and Eric Berry. Well, okay then, let's get a defense like the one Al Wilson played on. Let's do it. You got a chance to do it right now. You have the administration that's going to pony up. You got some players that are talented coming in that's already here, that's looking to make a big jump next year. Why not? Let's go do it. What you think about that, Josh? Think that's a bad idea?
Good idea. I think it's a good idea. Yeah, we got people trolling in the text box too.
Hey, Floyd Mayweather is one of the best boxers ever.
Uh huh.
I don't want my defense to be like Floyd Mayweather. I want my defense to be like Mike Tyson. People fear Mike Tyson because he'd knock your butt out in the first 30 seconds of the match. Floyd, hey, won a lot of matches, right? But more defensive. You couldn't hit him. He ain't knocking you out. I want my defense like Mike Tyson. I want our defense biting ears, man. Arr, arr, give me that earlobe. I want our defense biting offensive earlobes, man. That's what I want.
You should have been a DB.
Who?
You.
Nah. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Safeties, they hit, man. They hit too much. Mm-mm.
They hit a lot.
And
Or
they
at
get
least
hit by
they're
their own
supposed to.
guys.
They're supposed to.
No.
We'll continue the conversation. 865-656-9900. There was some all SEC recognition yesterday. We can go over that. Tennessee gets ready for a bowl game coming up in 20 days. Tennessee will play in Nashville against Illinois. By then, Tennessee should have a new defense coordinator in place for 2026. We continue inviting you to join us at 865-656-9900 on Josh and Swain. Says Josh and Swain, thank you for being with us. One text, Swain, what kind of dipping sauce would you use biting the earlobe? Mike Tyson reference what you want to see out of the defense. Tim says, Swain, bite Josh on the ear every time he brings up Jeremy Pruitt's name. I don't know about that one.
No, Josh trying to be funny. He know what reaction he's going to get from me.
Hey, this is the audience's show. When the audience brings up names, I pass them along to you to see what you think. Swain is the VFL and Tennessee representative on the show.
Okay.
Nothing more, nothing less.
All right, Joshua.
Cisco says Jason wants a Dick Butkus style defense.
That style of defense, absolutely, man. I want a defense that is intimidating. I want a defense that is in attack mode. I know offensively we talk about wanting to dictate things with our tempo, how we play with our splits. You want to attack offensively. Why can't we attack defensively too? And I know Tim Banks blitzed, and there were some times when he did attack. Don't get me wrong. So I'm not saying we were passive all the time. And I do think, again, your head coach affects your mentality. But I think with the next coordinator, like, we don't need to be passive at certain stages, man. This is the opportunity to upgrade. So let's go upgrade. Don't get somebody who's just a little bit better. Try to go get somebody that's a whole lot better. Take some pressure off the offense. Offense had a lot of pressure on them this past year, and when they didn't play well, it was glaring because of how poor the defense was this year. So Tim Banks, I don't want to pile on Tim Banks because I thought in a lot of ways he did a good job. I do think it's time for both sides to go their separate ways. And I do think that he could have did a better job this year. I think there's some areas he could have done a better job for sure. And you have an opportunity to go get someone else who can do a better job in some of those areas. It's not one of those situations where I say, man, Tim was just terrible because he wasn't. And man, I thought he could have been put in some better situations. But this is the nature of the job, man. You paid to produce, and sometimes it's not always going to be in your favor, but you still have to produce. And this is just one of those times, and he'll be okay. He'll be a coach next year if he so chooses. No reason why he won't be. Don't know if he's going to be a coordinator or not, but no reason why he won't be coaching, and he's going to be paid a lot of money to do so. So he's okay, but failing stinks for anyone who's at his level or higher or below his level, man. Failing hurts, but he'll be okay.
Swain, the coaches' all-SEC teams came out yesterday afternoon. Tennessee had one first-team member, Chris Brazel, a wide receiver, 3 players on the second team, Deshaun Bishop, Arion Carter, and then Josh Turbyville, kickoff specialist. Third team, Lance Hurd, Colton Hood, and freshman Ty Redmond. Third team all-SEC by the coaches.
How about Turbyville, man? That's cool. Local kid who his job was to kick it out of the end zone. And he did that 95% of the time, it seemed like. I think that's awesome for him. I'm sorry, that was what stood out the most to me. But Arion Carter, man, played this season banged up. And trying to play this game in space with a turf toe is difficult. He did it with 2 bad toes, 2 turf toes. And he laid it out there on the line. His presence was felt when he was not out there versus when he was out there. This was a nice jump from him from last year to this year, and he's going to have to make another jump if he wants to play at the next level. But, man, that's pretty cool, man. Pretty cool, Arion Carter. Chris Brazel to be first team All-SEC, leading the league in receiving yards. A nice bounce back from from last year, and he has the opportunity to put himself and his family in an awesome spot, man, to go to the next level. And I think Brazel has another level to his game that he can reach. I think mentally he has another level, and I hope wherever he goes is a good fit for him, so that way he can reach his full potential. But we saw some big plays from him and some big moments early in the season. Um, Defenses tried to take him out. I thought maybe that kind of frustrated him some, and but it's good to see him go for over 1,000 yards. That's something that you always sell if you are Kelsey Pope.
I will admit I didn't expect to see Ty Redmond's name on the All SEC teams. It is kind of funny to me that one of the thoughts this season has been, man, if they just had Gibson and McCoy out at corner, and by the way, that would have helped for sure, but Tennessee ends up with two corners on the All SEC teams at the end of the year, even without Gibson or Jamon McCoy.
Yeah, because corner losing your two starting corners is not the reason why the defense wasn't wasn't was last in the league. It was a factor, but it wasn't the entire reason. I mean, the missed tackles, the blown assignments, things like that has nothing to do with corners. And so Ty Redmond proved that it's not how you start, it's how you finish, and you can grow and develop within the season. And we saw his improvement from game one, game two, first SEC game, all the way to the last SEC game. Future is very, very bright for Ty Redmond. And then, hey, man, Colton Hood, I mean, he has a heck of an opportunity. He can go to the league if he wants to, or he can come back and set himself up for a big NIL. Hold on, a big paycheck for his play. He's a guy that can be one of the leaders on this football team. I think he has a personality for it. He's vocal. He has credibility. So Colton Hood's in a really good spot. It's kind of like being set up for a double move when you're playing tic-tac-toe. It don't matter which direction the opponent goes, you beat. I think Colton Hood's in that position, man. It doesn't matter which position, which direction he goes in, he's gonna be good. NFL or if he comes back.
Few feelings are better in the game world than when you set somebody up successfully in tic-tac-toe.
Oh man.
You know you got him? Oh, man.
Oh yeah. You just lean back in your chair.
Yeah. Tic-tac-toe and Connect Four.
Oh, yeah.
Cousins as games. Very good feeling when you know you got him.
Yeah, Connect Four takes too long for the moves to set up. But tic-tac-toe, 100%, man. 100%. But that's position that Colton Hood's in, man. He win-win. But that's a good number of guys on all SEC teams.
Yep, 7 players for Tennessee. 1 on the first team, 3 on second, 3 on the third team from, again, the coaches, which came out yesterday. We'll come back, 865-656-9900 to be part of the show. Thanks for the interaction. We'll open up the text box with more messages coming in when we come back. Presented by Junk Be Gone on Josh and Swain. Swain for the final segment of hour number 1. 2 more hours to go. We'll be with you until 3 o'clock. 865-656-9900. Ryan texted in and said Braylon Staley not being on any of the All-SEC teams is an omission. And I think there's a strong case for that statement, as Staley, if you look at SEC stats, he was 6th in the league in receiving yards. He had 64 receptions on the season, which was 3rd best in the conference. And then receiving touchdowns, Staley had 6, which was tied for 8th. So he was top 10 in all 3 of those categories. I think the player that surprised me the most was Ryan Wingo, whose stats are solid. He's 7th in the league in receiving yards. He's at Texas. But that's probably the one that surprised me the most. He was behind Staley in both receptions and yards on the season, did have one more touchdown. Bunch of good receivers, though. Like Mario Craver and Brennan Thompson were 3rd team, and they were tied for 2nd and 4th in the league in receiving yards. So it was a really good year at the position in the SEC.
That's one of the biggest snubs in the conference is Braylon Staley not being on any of his teams. Braylon Staley had the best season out of anybody on this football team. I mean, you can go look at, maybe Lance Hurd, who did a good job this year, but Staley was consistent all year long. You go look at the amount of targets that he got versus a lot of other guys. I'm willing to bet that his completion percentage from Joey Aguilar was higher than anybody else on the team. I understand he plays slot position, so it's a closer throw, easier throw, but it is what it is. He's been your best route runner. He made clutch plays in big games. I don't see how he's not on any of the teams. And sometimes young players get snubbed for older players. Maybe this is one of those cases, but Staley deserves to be on one of these teams. And hopefully when it's time to negotiate his NIL deal, because sometimes in the NFL level, they use that against you. Like if you make an all-pro team, you can use that in your argument to get a big-time pay bump and a new contract. Well, why not do the same thing at the collegiate level? If I'm an agent for a college kid, if a player makes all SEC, first team and second team, I'm using that as leverage to get my client more money. I say all that to say, for Staley, he deserves that bump as if he was an all-conference player because he deserves to be an all-conference player. He was that efficient for us offensively.
He was terrific. Staley was consistent all season long. You're right. We'll come back. We have 2 hours to go. 865-656-9900 to connect with us. Tennessee continues its search for a defensive coordinator. Could it be Ryan Walters? He said he has not had communication with Tennessee. He said a lot that really doesn't mean anything regarding the possibility of becoming Tennessee's defense coordinator. Washington will play its bowl game on Saturday, and then the Husky season will end. We'll come back. 2 hours to go. Thanks for hanging out with us. We'll talk more Tennessee, SEC, and college football with you until 3 o'clock. We are presented by Junk Be Gone, East Tennessee's junk removal specialists, online at junkbegone.biz. With VFL and former Tennessee wide receiver Jason Swain, I'm Josh Ward on Josh and Swain. It's Josh. I want to tell you about Ted Russell Ford. We were at the Kingston Pike location yesterday. They have a location for you at Parkside Drive. They have a ton of options for you. They have a great selection of pre-owned vehicles that you can check out right now. With just 3 weeks to go here in the year, they have the year-end savings that are available. They have that great selection of pre-owned vehicles to help you find what you need, and they want to get rid of those vehicles. So they have great savings opportunities as they are motivated to get those vehicles off the lot. Take advantage with the year-end sales event at your super dealer, Ted Russell Ford. You can check out all the vehicles they have available right now at the website, tedrussellford.net. You can stop by, you can call, ask any questions, set up an appointment if you want to go by for a test drive, whether it's something from their pre-owned lineup or, of course, their Ford F-150 trucks. They have 0% financing on brand new Ford F-150 trucks that's available. Thousands of dollars in savings on different Ford vehicles to take advantage of, and a great time to check out their electric vehicles, the Ford F-150 Lightning and the Mach-E. Do so on Parkside Drive, Kingston Pike, or start at the website, tedrussellford.net. We begin hour number 2 of Josh and Swain. Thanks for being with us alongside VFL and former Tennessee receiver Jason Swain. I'm Josh Ward. We go to the Stanley Fencing Gates hotline to begin this hour, saying hello to Braden Gall of 440 Sports. Braden, we appreciate the time as always. Quite a time in the world of college football with everything that's going on locally. We've talked about a coaching change at Tennessee, so we'll start there. I want to see some of your playoff thoughts out of this past weekend as well. But Tennessee's looking for a replacement for Tim Banks. What do you think of the situation Tennessee's in, the position that Tennessee is trying to fill with that news earlier in the week?
Well, I mean, I think, fairly telegraphed move. Is it all of the problems? No, but, at this time of year, when things don't feel like they're going right, you gotta, there has to be a fall guy, and I don't have any problem with the decision. What you go do is interesting. I don't mind. Like, I don't know if we need to break down like the type of scheme. Are we going to run a 3-3-5? Should they be running a 5-2 high safety look? Like, what's the area of expertise? I just want a good coach. I think if I'm a Tennessee fan, you just want just find the right coach, an excellent coach. Like Florida went and got Buster Faulkner. Find your defensive version of Buster Faulkner. Because I think strategically, the way they went about building a defensive unit, like great defensive line, solid corners, they just didn't, one of them just didn't get to play this year. I think that is a pretty smart strategy in 2025 on how to allocate resources to your defense. So just go find a really great coach. Like we'll get down the list in terms of like who they interview and who are the right names and do we like this scheme once they make a decision. But just go find a really good, sound X's and O's coach that develops talent and has a knack for play calling.
What's your opinion, take on Notre Dame's AD as he continues to talk and talk and talk?
I'm like kind of on both sides of it. Like I'm here for the petty. I'm here for them not taking the bowl game. And because the rest of college football is probably going to like back off and give them whatever they want, they're actually further away from joining a conference, I think. And I think he's doing the aura forming right now. And I think he is clearly feeling the Notre Dame brand and doing what he thinks is best for Notre Dame. Remember, this is a TV executive, right? Like this is a former TV guy who's all about TV. And he knows that his brand is still one of the most, if not the most powerful brand in television. He can say anything he wants to about any television partner, and they're still going to like bend over backwards to sign Notre Dame if they want to, if Notre Dame wants them to. So he's kind of got like a free, like a carte blanche to kind of do what he wants right now. And he is, and they're going to extract something from the rest of the conferences. Like if he extracts more access to the playoff or more special treatment, which I think is wrong. I don't think the rest of college football should give that to Notre Dame. But if everyone else, the SEC, the Big Ten, everybody else, TV networks, if they're all willing to just give him whatever he wants, why wouldn't he ask for it? And that means they're further away from joining a conference actually than closer. So, look, I think Notre Dame is like the 7th best team in the country. I think they're better than Oklahoma. I think they're better than Alabama. I think they're better than Ole Miss. I think they're certainly better than Miami right now. If I'm A&M, I'm so glad I'm not playing. I talked to some folks around the program. Like they are glad they're not playing Notre Dame. I think Notre Dame could have won the whole thing. So I think that's what's interesting about this particular year is I actually do think a team that could have won the whole thing actually got left out, and that's kind of a bummer.
Braden Gall, 440 Sports. Do you have a favorite going into the college football playoff to win it?
Georgia Bulldogs, y'all. I don't like that I've been thinking this way and feeling this way for a long time, but that's how I feel about it. Their defense played just the best football game they've played all season. The offense, Gunnar Stockton's been more efficient and better than people think. He's made big throws all season. Tennessee fans certainly know all about it. So look, Ohio State's really good. I think Indiana's defense is incredible. There's a lot of really good teams in this tournament that could win it. A&M, Oregon. I don't know about Texas Tech's offense, but by and large, this is the Georgia Bulldogs are the team to beat in my opinion. And, that's, I don't like that I feel that way.
What about your Heisman Trophy pick at this stage of the game? The finalists have been announced. Who would you roll with?
Well, I am not allowed to tell you who I voted for, technically. But at the end of the day, I think there are 2 or 3 players that mean more to their organization and the history of their program than ever before, and that's not normally a top criteria. But I do think this particular season, it is of consideration because it kind of applies to everybody.
Fair enough.
So that's all I'm going to say.
I got you. Fair enough.
Yeah. Do you like where college football is in the conversations that are taking place? It's good for content. It's good for interest. But is it all good? What do you think about where we are right now?
That is a loaded question. Look, I think the regular season was as good as we've ever seen. So it's hard to say that, like, on Saturdays, the product is not great, right? Like, the product is still great. I think having as many teams in the tournament and as many teams in the regular season that we were still paying attention to, and the number of games that still mattered that everyone had to watch was the goal of expansion. And I think that has worked really, really, really well. I think the story of Ole Miss, Texas Tech, and, you know, to some degree Oregon a little bit, but mostly you look at the stories that would not ever happen any other time during this era, which is Indiana, Texas Tech, and Ole Miss, which is using resources to improve their lot in life. That's a uniquely now, today's day and age story. Those are good stories about college football. And that's sort of the design of the new rules, is trying to help and allow teams like Texas Tech and Ole Miss and Indiana to do this stuff. Indiana also, separately from all of this, Indiana and Kurt Signetti is one of the most extraordinary stories ever told in the modern era of college football. Like, there is no comparing this Indiana turnaround the last 2 years to anything else we've ever seen. And so there's still lots of really great stories, lots of great games. Saturdays are still great. Do I think the money of it all and the committee of it all and the expansion that's coming, I still think we got a lot to figure out. But as long as you don't let all that stuff ruin your life, which it shouldn't, I still think the games are going to be great in the tournament by and large. There's going to be a couple blowouts as usual, but I think we've got great matchups. I don't think anyone really knows who's going to win it, which I think is sort of also a pleasant surprise. I mean, how many tournaments of 4 did we have where you sort of felt like you knew exactly who was going to win it? I don't think you can make the case for a lot of different teams. So, like, in theory, a lot of this stuff is working the way it's intended. It just needs to be polished up a little bit.
Yeah, I think that's right. Tennessee's coming to your city, by the way, at the end of the month. We'll have more time to talk about that as we get closer to it, the Music City Bowl. What's going on at 440 Sports for people to check out before you go, Braden?
SEC Football Live, of course. We broke down all the committee decisions, Notre Dame, Miami, Alabama, the rankings, et cetera, the matchups, who we like to win, et cetera, all kinds of stuff. SEC Football Live. All your Titans coverage right now, of course, on a football show with Paul Kaharski, Nick Suss, and myself. You got Gold Standard with Nashville Predators coverage. That's on 440 Sports YouTube page as well. So podcast app, social media, and YouTube page, 440 Sports. You can get all kinds of coverage for Middle Tennessee sports.
440 Sports, go check it out. Hey, Braden, we appreciate the time as always. Thank you so much, and we will talk to you again soon.
Yep, appreciate you guys.
Thanks, Braden. Braden Gall, 440 Sports, joining us on the Stanley Fencing and Gates hotline. He is a Heisman voter. We need to get you a Heisman vote, Jason Swain.
That might be a good idea. It may not be a good idea, but I'm all for it. I'm open to the idea. I'll tell you who I would vote for. It wouldn't be a quarterback.
Mr. Love?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Jeremiah Love at Notre Dame. He's terrific.
Like, there's not a game where you look at Love and you go, man, if he would have played better, his team would have won. No. Said that. You can say that about Diego Pavia.
60-yard runs look effortless too.
You can say that about Diego Pavia.
Mm-hmm.
You can't say that about Mendoza because they won every game. But like, right. I would give Love, because he jumps off the screen more than any one of those other guys. He just does to me. He is a game changer, and I think he's a better football player than all those guys.
Yeah, the Notre Dame conversation is so interesting because I think they're very much deserving of a playoff spot if you're looking at 12 teams to compete for the national championship. It's a year, though, where there are several teams that have a case to be in. Vanderbilt has a case to be in as a 10-2 team from the SEC. Texas even has some kind of a case. They also have more of a case against them as well because of that Florida loss and 3 losses total. But it's unfortunate. I appreciate, though, the way Clark Lee has handled being left out more so than the way Notre Dame's AD has handled it. By the way, Marcus Freeman hasn't done what his AD has. But Clark Lee has said, we have to take ownership. We played a role in not making it in. I appreciate that.
I appreciate that too. I see why Vanderbilt football has made the flip that they've made under his leadership. I understand it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not saying, hey, you should be a Clark Lee fan. You can or cannot, whatever. But when James Franklin was there and they were winning, I could see why people were like, I don't like Vandy and I don't like James Franklin. Clark Lee, I find to be quite likable in the way he does his job as Vanderbilt's head coach. He's done a terrific job.
Yeah, I agree with you. Definitely different than James Franklin.
Yep. He's turned them into a winner. Now they will enter the post-Diego Pavia era, and that will play a role. But they've built more than just what they did with Pavia at the quarterback position. That program has done a lot. We'll see what that means moving forward as Tennessee knows how the regular season ended, and Tennessee tries to get ready for a better 2026. We continue the conversation, 865-656-9900 for you to be part of it. We're with you until 3 o'clock this afternoon on Josh and Swain. here at VFL and former Tennessee wide receiver. I'm Josh Ward, 865-656-9900 to be part of the show. Do you all think Jeremiah Love will get sympathy votes because Notre Dame got left out? Swain, I think we got a similar question yesterday or in the last couple of days about Diego Pavia as well. Those are two of the finalists. So maybe from some, I guess Heisman voters will vote for who they think should win it, not necessarily sympathy votes. But you have two guys that are a part of the field in Julian Sayin and Fernando Mendoza, and then Jeremiah Love and Diego Pavia are the other two Heisman finalists who were in the snubbed category of the college football playoff.
I mean, I think that Pavia and Mendoza had what people love to see at the end of the season, and that was the Heisman moment. I mean, we've seen that be factored in so many Heisman races. And Diego had it against Tennessee, and Mendoza had it against Ohio State. Sayin did not have it against Indiana. Indiana. And so for Jeremiah Love, I mean, he's been kind of doing what he's been doing all season long, but I don't think he necessarily had that Heisman moment that could be on the same stage as Mendoza, being able to beat the number one team in the country in the Big Ten championship game, making a big throw to seal the deal, or at least put them in position to seal the deal. I mean, I think that's the lasting impression that voters have.
I will be intrigued by a Heisman acceptance speech from either Fernando Mendoza or Diego Pavia.
If you had a vote, who you voting for?
I would have to think more about it, but probably either Pavia or Love.
Yeah.
Is Love for sure going to win the Doak Walker?
I mean, why would he not? That wouldn't make any sense for him to be a finalist as a Heisman Trophy candidate and not win the Doak Walker.
Of course it wouldn't make sense. We're talking about college football.
That would be like that would be like a quarterback not a finalist winning the Davey O'Brien award. Mm-hmm. Like that wouldn't make any sense either. Like all the quarterback awards that should be gobbled up by those three guys who are in New York.
Yeah, the other two Doak Walker finalists are from the SEC, Ahmad Hardy at Missouri and Quan Lacey at Ole Miss.
No. I'm not more sure about a person getting an award, a player getting an individual position award this year more than Jeremiah Smith winning the Doak Walker or Jeremiah Love winning the Doak Walker. He came in as the best running back in the country. He took over that title last year. He was undoubtedly the best running back in the country this year, and no one changed that. No one changed that.
Remember last year, Travis Hunter won the Heisman. He did not win the Thorpe. But that could be because he was also offense and defense combined. He won the Biletnikoff, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but that one's a little different than this with Jeremiah Love. I'm with you though. I would think he wins the Doak Walker. I don't expect it to win the Heisman though. But he's one of the finalists, the only non-quarterback among the four finalists.
Hey, Tennessee has themselves a guy that will have a chance to go chase that award next year, and that's Deshaun Bishop.
Yeah, Deshaun Bishop, second team All SEC. Here's what I was thinking. Not with the Heisman because that can make things different. Travis won the Chuck Bednarik Award for the top defensive player of the year, but he did not win the Thorpe Award. So he's the best overall defensive player, but not the best defensive back in the country.
Yeah, that don't make any sense.
No, but again, different thoughts, different votes in the world of college football. Let's say hello to Ernest. Ernest, you're on Josh and Swain. Thanks for calling in. What's on your mind today?
But again,
Ernest.
different thoughts, different votes.
Swain, I hear us back there. Hey, Ernest, let's keep the radio down, bud. Good afternoon. What's on your mind? No, we're trying.
Are there?
Yes, sir.
I think if Tennessee gets a new defense coordinator around here, he better be like a drill sergeant. He better be like, just get on to them for everything they do. I mean, because you got to. I mean, you got to get on these players. I mean, it doesn't matter how much I&L money they're giving them or whatever. It seems to me that's the kind of coach they need. Somebody like a drill sergeant.
What do you think there, Swain?
I mean, I think every coach need to hold their guys accountable, and I don't know if he needs someone that is always a yeller and a screamer, because at some point it becomes white noise. But I think you better have someone who brings intensity, because you want your defense to always have intensity. And I've never seen Tim Banks intense. He's always been laid back, and it seems like his defenses were laid back this year. So I don't know if I would 1,000% say, yeah, we need a drill sergeant, because like when I think of a drill sergeant, I'm thinking someone that's always yelling in the face of a player. I don't think it's necessary. I think it's counterproductive in a lot of ways too.
Yeah, Ernest, we appreciate the call. In the text box, who cares about the Heisman? It's a sham award given to whomever the media wants to win it.
I mean, the media, they do vote on it, don't they?
Yeah, now they don't necessarily come together and discuss. I mean, I'm sure there are conversations, but there are a lot of voters. There are a ton of voters for the Heisman. But hey, look, there are hurt feelings toward the Heisman Trophy among Tennessee fans, which I'm well aware of. Yeah,
I get it. Like I do not value the Heisman the same way I value the Heisman 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, and the best player is supposed to be the best player in college football. They don't pick the best player in college football.
Right. Yeah, there are about 900 voters for the Heisman. It's a lot of people. Also, a question in the text box. This is about the playoff as it relates to the sport. Why can't we move to an NFL playoff system?
As far as like the number of teams?
Maybe so. Look, I don't know exactly what that means, but I will say, as it relates to the college football playoff and trying to create it or figure it out, they've created one. College football acts like they're the first ones to come up with the playoff. Everybody else has figured it out, even at the FCS level.
Correct.
College football at the FBS level is the only place where they have no clue what to do. And they continue to stumble and bumble and fumble through, and every year think, oh, well, guess we got to change it again. Every year. It's become an annual conversation about what to do. It's the only sport where that's the case. There have been changes in other sports. The NFL expanded a couple of years ago. Major League Baseball has altered things, but they're not doing this every single year. College football, they are led by so many people that have different incentives and self-interest that do not help the sport. They get in the way of getting things figured out.
I do think it's easier at the NFL level and at the FCS level, because at the NFL level, you have divisions, you have conferences, you have 14 total teams in the playoffs, you have division winners, and you have wild card, you have the buys. I think that's pretty easy. And then at the FCS level, everyone is kind of the same. You don't have like all these major conferences inside of the FCS where one major conference is bigger and stronger than the other, and there's a imbalance of power and strength of schedule. Like, okay, here's all the teams in the FCS, and whoever's the best, we're gonna seed you, and we're gonna find out who wins the championship. Kind of like the NFL. FBS, you have all these major conferences, and there's weight on the Big Ten, there's weight on the SEC, and you can't forget about the Group of Five, and it's just way more complicated.
Yeah, you're right. It's more evened out in every other sport, including at the FCS level. But the FBS has created this situation where the SEC and the Big Ten are so much more powerful than everybody else, but they're still trying to create somewhat of an equal opportunity for the other conference, even though they don't operate at an equal level. That leads to James Madison and Tulane getting into the college football playoff.
Correct.
And it leads to Notre Dame, which is a worthy team of being among the top 12.
They should.
But Notre Dame's out while James Madison is in. And again, Vanderbilt can make an argument. Every year's not going to be the same either. I recognize that. This is a year where you have too many 10-2 teams, and you have teams that have a legitimate case. But because the ACC is such a weak conference, and they're within their own conference, their path to getting a conference champion is so flawed, where they had that big a big tie for second place. So it left Duke, a 7-5 team, in their conference title game, while Miami, which is the best team in the conference, realistically, wasn't even playing in it. And they get in that large spot, while James Madison and Tulane get automatic qualifying spots.
Yeah, I mean,
Total man.
Notre Dame could win the whole deal, but they don't even have a chance, and that's just not right. And then you look at BYU and their resume, and then you look at other teams resume that could be better than Tulane or James Madison. So. Is it better this year than it was last year? Yeah, I guess. But I think next year it needs to be better. And hopefully at some point, after tweaking and adjusting, that you finally get that perfect playoff system where it's fair and the right teams are in and the right teams are out.
One text says, how about the winner of each conference is the only one to make the playoffs? Notre Dame once in, then join a conference. I mean, I guess that would mean a 4-team playoff. I would not be in favor of a 4-team playoff with Duke as one of the 4.
No.
No offense to the Blue Devils.
No. I mean, that's still not the answer. That's still not the answer. I think expanding beyond 4 was the right thing to do. And maybe expanding beyond 12 is the right thing to do. But if you don't select the right teams, it's still wrong. Expanding it out won't fix it. You have to adjust the process to find the worthy of teams to play in the playoffs. Again, we are talking about James Madison and Tulane both being in there. Come on, man. There's 2 other teams out there that have a better chance of winning the playoffs than those 2 teams.
At this point, it's so absurd, and we have this conversation every year. I would be more in favor of just every year it could be a different format. Next year it could be 13 teams. The year after that it could be 11. The year after that it could be 17. Every year you evaluate and determine how many teams are worthy of being in the playoff, and those are the ones that get in. That's better than what we're doing right now.
I agree with you. I agree with you 100%.
This year, we could have had a 15-team playoff, and it would have made more sense than what we have with this 12-team playoff the way that it unfolded.
And I'm sure I don't want to hear from Hunter Yurachek. Like the ADs, I'm sorry, man. I don't want to hear from a bunch of ADs on playoff committees, man. They're golly.
Yeah, Yurachek could be a different kind of no man for the playoff committee. He could give his input. And then you say, no, man, that's what we're not going to do. So you take his advice, throw that out. That helps you weed out some of the ideas. It's college football. But you know what? The history of the sport is about debate and disagreement and arguments, and we're at an all-time high in disagreements and conversation around the sport. We'll continue with 90 minutes to go. Thank you for the interaction. Thanks for the calls and the text at 865-656-9900. We're presented by Junk Beyond on Josh and Swain.
2 locations in Clinton to serve you if you are looking for a sedan, SUV, pickup truck. Maybe you're trying to pull a boat or a trailer. Freedom Motors has you taken care of. If you are a business owner, maybe a owner of a small or large business, and you're looking for a cargo van or service truck, well, Freedom Motors has that for you as well. They have a program specializing in first-time buyers. Also, second chance financing is available as well. They offer financing for all types of credit by using local credit unions and national banks. You can see their selection. You can get the process started by going to their website, freedommotorstn.com. You can give them a call, 865-269-4090. Give them a call, see what they have on the lot, see how they can help you, or any questions that you might have. That's Freedom Motors, keeping freedom rolling.
This is Josh and Swain. Thanks for being with us. Jason Swain's here at VFL, former Tennessee wide receiver. I'm Josh Ward, and we go to the Stanley Fencing and Gates hotline to say hello to Austin Price of VolQuest.com. He joins us each week thanks to Colossal Productions online, colossalproductions.com. Hey, Austin, thanks for the time as always. Tennessee's looking for a defensive coordinator to replace Tim Banks. What can you tell us about the search? And if you can, start with Ryan Walters, the name that's been brought up the most this week. What can you tell us about Ryan Walters' potential connection to the job?
Yeah, I mean, he has the most ties to the staff. And he said that even in his press conference yesterday before their bowl game that comes up on Saturday. I mean, he said, what do you say? I get why everybody's connecting the dots. You know, if I was a media person, I'd connect the dots too. Because he does. He obviously knows Alec Ablin because he coached him when Ablin was at Missouri. He knows Josh Heupel because they were together at a couple of different spots. He knows Seth Luttrell. So it makes sense for Ryan Walters to be a name, and maybe he ends up being the guy. He certainly downplayed it. People on campus have certainly tried to downplay it, and maybe they're just trying to get through Saturday and get through the Washington Bowl game. So I guess we'll see. Again, if you look at the timeline, if it's going to be Ryan Walters, unless it leaks out through the agent end, which it doesn't seem like it has to this point as far as how his name's even gotten bannered about, then you're looking at a Sunday announcement at the earliest because he's going to coach his team in their bowl game on Saturday. If it's not him and they have an announcement before then I would tend to tell you it's going to be somebody else. So again, time will tell. I think a lot of it depends on what they're able to get done, cross the T's and dot the I's, and get Tennessee a new defensive coordinator hired.
What do you think the dynamic will be or is in terms of the current players on the roster, the recruiting class? Obviously, there's going to be a new defense coordinator. How connected will some of these players be to their current position coaches? There's a possibility that some of those guys will be replaced too.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's certainly a possibility that somebody. Jason, I don't think it affects. I don't think it like the Tim Banks firing. I don't believe affects anybody on the roster. I don't. At the end of the day, most of these kids care about playing time, and they care about the NIL number. And so, I think when you look at it, could it affect one or two? Maybe. I don't think it's going to affect a broad group of them, though.
Austin Price, VolQuest.com, with us thanks to Colossal Productions. What do you think Tennessee needs in this hire for a new defense coordinator?
I think they need somebody that's going to be able to marry it all together. You look at what Tennessee's done defensively. Until this year, they had been a better defense than they were the year before. So they had steadily improved, and then they fell off pretty hard this year. Now, you could say that's a number of different things. How the Boo Carter situation was handled, the chemistry, losing your two starting corners, one before the season ever played it down, the other one about 4 snaps in. Tennessee's defensive line did not get near the pressure middle part of the year that did late in the year. I just think ultimately you want somebody that has a good feel, has a history of doing it. I think hiring someone that has a history of calling defense is important because Josh Heupel can ill afford to get this hire wrong. And if I'm making the hire, I'm riding with someone that has done it, multiple years and called the defense multiple years and been able to run a defense in practice, in a game, all those things at a high level. So whoever that person is, I think that's what you're looking for.
All right, Austin Price, VolQuest.com. What's the latest with Legend Bay? There's a lot of speculation about how his recruitment went down.
Jason, I'm not getting the trap Ramon Foster put me in yesterday. There is no latest. I do think that he's probably going to end up elsewhere if I was a betting man. But Tennessee's continued to have conversations, and they're going through the process with Legend Bay right now. So just not a lot to report at this time. He's not lot of his, scholarship papers at this point. Do I think that that's probably where it's headed? I do, unless the kid comes back and just goes, no, I want to be at Tennessee. But even then, because of what's kind of went down and how it's transpired, I'm not sure Tennessee would want to go down that road. So I would, if I were a betting man, I would place odds on him not being here when classes start in January.
Austin, I would never trap you. I got your back.
Ramon does it every Tuesday, Jason.
Hey, is there a timetable, by the way, when they need to get this figured out, like when he might plan to be on campus or not, I guess, if they do let him out?
No, I don't think there's a timetable. Ultimately, it's just about, just doing it. I would say probably mid-January. I don't know when classes start at Ohio State, but Tennessee starts later than others, which is why, if Tennessee, the whole like, well, he can just go into the portal. You're right. But a kid has to go, if you're a signee, you have to go to class before you can go into the portal, is my understanding. And if that is the case, Tennessee's class starts after the portal is closed. So thus Tennessee is going to be the one that has to sign off on letting him go. And I think, again, that's probably where we're headed. We're in the process of doing it. We're just not finalized to this point.
Okay. Austin Price, VolQuest.com. What a storyline. What a sport we're talking about every single day here. College football. It's in quite a place.
What a disaster. What a disaster.
I agree with you. Hey, do you have any idea right now what it looks like in terms of opt-outs who you expect to play in the bowl game versus not, as the bowl game will be just a few days before the transfer portal will open up as well?
Yeah. When I'm looking at the guys that potentially could opt out, Josh Josephs comes to mind. Arion Carter comes to mind. Now, those guys have yet to announce it. I think we're in wait and see mode on Lance Hurd. Colton Hood, if you ask me today, what does he do? I don't think he knows. I think that he is intending on practicing, which tells me he's intending on playing. But I think that could be one of those things where if he gets his draft grade back and it's where he wants it to be and he decides to go pro, he'll just shut it down at that point. But I do think he's been around and active and doing team stuff. And then, we'll see about everybody else. Chris Browsel's one I do not think will go through the bowl experience. I think he'll opt out. He got 1,000 yards, and I think, be an opportunity for Darius Jackson and Travis Smith to get some more run in the Music City Bowl against Illinois. And but those are kind of the ones I'm looking at as of right now. Everybody else, I think, should be good to go. I mean, Jalen McMurray, I think, will play. If McMurray and Hood both play in the bowl game, that's a big deal for Tennessee because it doesn't make you go too deep into the bench of corners that just have not done a whole lot. And I think that's probably a little fearful if you're Tennessee's defensive staff of, like who in the secondary is available. If they're all available, you're feeling pretty good. If you lose one or two, and things can get dicey in a hurry.
Where do things stand, by the way? You mentioned Arion Carter and Lance Hurd, as far as you know, with their NFL decisions.
I think we'll hear something on Arion Carter sometime, in the next few days. It does not feel like he will play in the bowl game to me. And so if that's the case, then I'd say that's the decision. You have your decision as far as, whether he's going to go pro or not. And then Lance Hurd, I think that one's, again, waiting to get back, kind of the thought process from the NFL. And then let's say he, doesn't get what he hopes and he's going to come back to college. You got he and David Sanders that both expect to play left tackle. Somebody's, either somebody's moving on or somebody's going to be willing to play right tackle in 2026. So again, we'll see where things go. But I think it's still to be determined at this point.
Austin Price, VolQuest.com. Any other notes that we might have missed? Anything to pay attention to out there, Austin, before we say goodbye?
No, I think that's pretty much covered it. Just we'll see kind of where things go from here with this defensive coordinator hire. I think it'll be a lot of cloak and dagger and a lot of mystery over the next few days. I don't think you'll hear a lot of new names. I don't think you'll hear a lot of chatter. I think it'll be pretty much same old, and a lot of people, I think will stick with the Walter stick, and I don't think that's a bad thing. Again, it's the one that we said it from the beginning. It's the one that made the most sense. And if you know anything about Josh Heupel, comfort level, knowledge of the person, all that stuff, in my opinion, tends to trend towards the way he thinks. And so we'll see where things are going to go as the week unfolds.
Okay, we'll continue to follow. Know you will as well. You can keep up with the work from Austin and his colleagues at volquest.com. Volquest.com, the website. Hey, Austin, thanks for the time as always, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Thank you. Love you, Swain. Appreciate you, brother.
I didn't ask any more questions, man, because I didn't want to put you in a bad spot. Love you too.
Austin Price, released from the trap. Released from the trap. Thank you, Austin. Austin Price joins us every week, by the way, thanks to Colossal Productions. You have got to see their massive LED screens they can bring to your party, to the event you're planning, a gaming event. Get in touch with the team there at Colossal Productions. We saw one of their massive screens on site last week. They're great. ColossalProductions.com is the website. They have their massive mobile LED screens, their great audio system set up with it. So a company event, special occasion. If you're an event planner, connect with Colossal Productions, colossalproductions.com. We come back with another segment to go, another hour to go coming up on Josh and Swain. This is Josh and Swain. Final segment of hour number 2. We'll wrap this one up quickly with another hour to go. Jay Busby of Yahoo Sports coming up at 2:30. College football playoff debate continues. It does not sound like Legend Bay will be at Tennessee, Jason Swain, but nothing is done there either. But Austin Price saying last segment, if he had to place a bet on it, he would place a bet on Legend ending up elsewhere. But until it's done, it's not done.
You just don't know, man. It's college football. So if he doesn't want to be here, he don't need to be here. He needs to be where he is happy and where he wants to go. And if that's Tennessee, great. If it's not, great. I mean, I think it's that cut and dry. I think it's that simple.
I don't think it's good for anybody to make anything of it. You got to come to a decision, a conclusion, and then move on. If they do go their separate ways, just go your separate ways. I wouldn't try to extend it beyond that. Obviously, if he stays at Tennessee, then it just works out and he plays for Tennessee. But if he goes elsewhere, allow him to go, and Tennessee moves on as well. Is the way I would approach it.
Man, it's a hard decision for these young men. I mean, trying to pick the right school, trying to find out, all right, because you only can go to one school. You can't take this position. You can't take this position coach to this school, or say, hey man, I wish your school was closer to home, or like you got to take one or the other, and you have to take it all or nothing. You can't pick and choose, and so I do give these young men grace. I mean, it's not an easy decision. It's, something that I've been through myself, but I didn't have to worry about being offered a lot of money. I didn't have the influence of a parent, involved either. So like, it's not easy. It's not always cut and dry for all these guys. So whatever happens, I hope that he's healthy. I hope he plays well. And if it doesn't work out at Ohio State, I hope that the bridge hasn't been burned enough to where if he wants to transfer here, he can.
We'll continue to see what happens. Tennessee looking for a defensive coordinator at some point, looking for a resolution on Legend Bay, who did sign with Tennessee. Will he play for Tennessee? That's one of the questions. 865-656-9900 to join us. Presented by Junk Beyond on Josh and Swain.
I go to. I don't frequent those type of parties, and even if I go, like I said, been doing Diddy parties for 15 years, and I must say you never let me down, Puff. Ain't no party like a Diddy party. Good time. I've never seen any of this. I'm like, when I hear about it, what did that happen? Never. those aren't the type of parties that I go to. I don't frequent.
This is Josh and Swain. Thank you for being with us. 865-656-9900 to be part of the show. Call or text in. We're presented by Junk Beyond. Jason Swain is here at VFL, former Tennessee wide receiver. Jay Busby of Yahoo Sports will join us coming up at 2:30. We talked to Austin Price last hour, as well as Braden Gall at the start of last hour. Those interviews are in our podcast feed. You can listen to us wherever you get your podcasts, also the podcast section of the WNML app. One thing I've noticed today, Swain, there is still a strong dislike, some would say hatred for Notre Dame. The way the AD at Notre Dame has gone public and pushing back against the AC, the commissioner, the whole shebang with how the playoff field unfolded, brought out a lot of the dislike that has already existed with Notre Dame, but it was brought back out with fan reaction, I'd say, over the last couple of days.
I think it's okay to be hated, right? I mean, if you're Notre Dame, you are prestigious, and like you okay with that. But why would you be okay with just saying untruthful stuff that embarrasses your institution? Like the greatest 10-game run in the history of college football. I know that strategy might work in politics where you got people that believe some of that crap that's being said, but not. It's not gonna work at this level with college sports where people could just turn on the TV and go, wait a minute, you lost to a bunch of teams that don't have a great winning record. Just because you beat some sisters of the poor doesn't mean you can say it's the greatest 10-game run. Like your hard games was at the beginning of the season, and you lost those games. So it's one thing to embrace being hated. I wish Tennessee was hated more. That means we're more successful and we're winning. But don't get behind a microphone and just say a bunch of stuff that embarrasses everybody. Like if I'm Marcus Freeman, man, I'm like, okay, man, that's enough. Thanks.
Yeah, pipe down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
I would say that's enough. Yeah, because
That's
it's
enough.
embarrassing.
That's
Notre
enough.
Dame. Yeah. Marcus Freeman, ton of respect for him. So, again, it's not him going out there and saying these things. It's the athletic director who is in charge of the athletic department, but he's not necessarily in charge of the football program. Marcus Freeman is. So I would not be happy at this point. It's one thing to make some comments on the Dan Patrick Show that it's live. Maybe you're letting a little emotion out. But then the next day, after you've had 24 hours to think about it and you double down, that's a bad look. That's a bad look.
Double down.
Yeah.
Greatest 10-game run in the history of college football. Come on, man.
Yeah, come on, man.
He can't even take you serious anymore when you say stuff like that.
Yeah, Joel showed the run by the 2001 Miami Hurricanes. You want to look at great runs in college football. You're going to find a lot more before you get to the 10-game stretch after losing the two opening games against Miami and Texas A&M. Now, we did have somebody in the text box say Notre Dame's afraid they don't want to play anybody. I don't think that's the case. They schedule a bunch of really good programs. Sometimes it's not their fault that some of the good programs they play end up not being very good this season. Their strength of schedule was weaker this year because of some of those teams being down. But they did play. They did go to Miami in the opening week. They did play Texas A&M. They obviously play USC. They want to keep that game going. Their strength of schedule, I think, ranks 44th, which is not good, but it's not embarrassing. Tennessee's ranked 33rd, for example. They're one spot ahead of Miami. They have that relationship with the ACC, which makes the comments kind of funny. The ACC being as weak as it was obviously hurt their strength of schedule. But I don't think Notre Dame's afraid of playing teams. They just play a different kind of schedule. We've had comments, and feel free to disagree here with my opinion, but we've had comments saying, well, they need to join a conference. They shouldn't be included in the playoff if they're not in a conference. I think they need to join a conference, but I wouldn't exclude them because they're not. They're still playing 12 games. If they're playing 10 or 11 games, then that's one thing. But I don't know what being in a conference should mean in terms of whether you can be in the playoff or not. I don't think they should get special treatment, but they're playing. They just play a spread out schedule versus a conference heavy schedule.
Well, their problem is not that they're not in a conference. I know people hate the fact that they're different and they don't abide by the same rules as everyone else, and people want them
Right.
to. But their issue is they have been playing a Big Ten schedule in some ways for a very, very long time. They play Michigan. They play some of these other teams from the Big Ten, and they elected to play more ACC schools, knowing that the Big Ten and the SEC were the two top conferences in the country. And so if you would have played more Big Ten schools, you probably would have had a better strength of schedule. You might have made it in with your record currently, on top of the fact that you're not in a conference. So, like, you knew that not being in a conference, you had to do a little bit more. And you knew that you probably wasn't going to host playoff games equally like some of the other teams who are in conference, but you were okay with that. I think where they went wrong was They stopped playing Michigan. They stopped playing the Michigan States. They stopped playing those teams. And you traded it in for an easy ACC schedule, and this is what cost you.
Trying to see who I'm missing here. Oh, yeah. Okay. So they played, like, to Notre Dame's credit, or in their defense, they played 10 power conference opponents. And in the two non-power conference opponents they played were Boise State and Navy, which are quality programs, right? Those are actually two of their probably tougher opponents this season. So they played 10 power conference teams. The problem is, as you're talking about there, in the ACC, I mean, they just played some stinkers.
They did.
Stanford, Boston College. Now, Syracuse, Swain, that is a quality ACC opponent. Would you agree?
I mean, Syracuse is one of the best teams in the country week one, but they got broke. They got broke,
That's
man.
right. That's what happened. Yeah, they entered the season as a big-time team, and then after week one, you know what happened there.
Yeah, they were an ACC
joking.
sleeper, man. But, they got broke week one, and then their quarterback got hurt, and then the wheels fell off there.
Yeah. But again, Notre Dame played 10 power conference opponents plus Boise State Navy. They're out, though. And Clark Lee, playing in the SEC, went 10-2. They got left out. Clark Lee's response was, we got to take ownership here. We didn't do enough to get in for the committee to choose us. Notre Dame's athletic director had a different approach in the conversation.
Like, check out their 2009 schedule. They played Michigan, Michigan State, Purdue, 3 teams from the Big Ten. They played Washington that year, which, hey, they were in the Pac-10, but they're in the Big Ten now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So in Michigan State, Purdue, they're still in the Big Ten. So those are 4 Big Ten schools that you could have played on top of your out-of-conference schedule. So if your schedule was a little bit harder, you probably would have been okay. So that's why I just can't get on board with their argument, because you knew dang well the ACC wasn't close to the Big Ten and the SEC. You knew that it was Clemson and maybe Florida State in the ACC, maybe Miami. And you thought, oh, okay, well, if we see Clemson, that'll be good enough. And if we beat them, that'll be good enough. But no, you need more than just hoping for Clemson to be really good that 1 year in the ACC or a couple of good years in the ACC, and then using those guys to strengthen your schedule. It backfired. That's what happened.
Got asked in the YouTube chat, hey, Josh, you have to explain yourself why you would consider giving the Heisman to somebody besides Mendoza. Look, if you vote for Fernando Mendoza, he had a great season. So I'm not going to strongly push back on that. 2,980 passing yards, 33 touchdowns, 6 picks. Team went undefeated. He was terrific. He is worthy of being a finalist. I think it's a wide open field, so I have no issue with him. You asked me who would I vote for. I said I need to spend a little more time on it, but I would probably be between Pavia and Love. I think there's a strong case to say that Jeremiah Love from Notre Dame was the best player in football this season. He's electric. He makes a 60-yard run look like an easy 10-yard run into the goal line. But Pavia versus Fernando Mendoza, obviously I saw Pavia up close. He was at Neyland Stadium. But playing one less game than Mendoza this season, Pavia had about 800 more total yards than Mendoza this season. Pavia played in the SEC. It's not the toughest SEC schedule, but a tough schedule. And I also saw just how much of a role he played in what Vanderbilt's offense was. And by the end of the season, without a doubt, one of the best offenses in the country. There's some numbers out there that show that Vandy had the best offense in the nation. So what he did, more than 3,100 passing yards, more than 800 rushing yards, and 36 touchdowns on the season. I think if Diego Pavia does win the Heisman Trophy, he's very much earned it.
Now, I don't want to see that.
I wouldn't expect that you're pulling for it.
I don't want to see that. He torched us, man. Goodness gracious. But I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that.
He put up 335 yards a game playing in the SEC. So but look, he's a finalist. I think all 4 finalists are they're deserving. Julian Sayin, he's the quarterback of Ohio State, that helps. I think Jeremiah Smith is the best player on that offense, but Sayan's numbers were terrific, and I have no issue with him being there. But I would probably be between Pavia and Jeremiah Love.
Yeah, I don't think this was the strongest year for candidates either. Not just saying that
I guess
because
the voting will
Pavia.
be more spread out than we typically see.
Yeah, I don't think it was the strongest year. But that's just me. Pavia balled out when it mattered.
Yeah,
Can't
some of
deny
some of the response and the pushback on Pavia is they don't like that he's arrogant. Brandon says, "Josh Ward, come on. Yes, Pavia was good, but he's a punk."
Manziel was a punk too, according to people, but he was undeniable. And if the voters feel like Pavia is undeniable, then hey, he'll win it. But it shouldn't be about if you're arrogant or not. It should be, are you the best college football player in the country? Like, that's what it should be about. Nothing else. Not, hey, you're the quarterback or the best team or no, best player. It's that simple. Oh, well, I don't like him. Who cares?
If Diego Pavia were Tennessee's quarterback, Tennessee fans would love him.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, 100%. We had a player close to that on the basketball court. His name's the guy Ziegler, who was photographed flipping off Kentucky signs inside their arena. And we would look at that as disrespectful if he wasn't wearing orange, but we love it. So we always do that, man. We always kind of change the narrative when the guy wears orange versus not wearing orange.
Yeah, I'm not saying you have to like or pull for Pavia, but I'm also not going to dismiss what he did.
No,
because he talks trash, because he's arrogant, because he backed it up too.
No, I mean you're supposed to hate your rivals, and
yeah, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, he hated his rival and performed, did exactly what he said he was going to do. So
you tip your cap and move on and try to get better.
I can't hate on him for that.
Yeah.
I do think like the victory formation stuff. I think it's hilarious because it backfired. When he did it at Alabama, I don't follow him enough to know that he does it every game. But mentally, you're preparing yourself to win. So I understand. Like, I understand doing it. I get it. But it's funny when it backfires.
Yeah, Brandon followed up. The Heisman Trophy is given to the top NCAA Division I FBS player representing excellence, diligence, and hard work.
I mean,
again, I'm not saying like Pavia, but I'm pretty sure he worked hard, was excellent on the field. Diligence, I don't know. You don't have to like him, but you have to respect what he did on the field. We'll come back 865-656-9900 on Josh and Swain. Back on Josh and Swain, thank you for being with us. We will talk to Jay Busby in our next segment with Yahoo Sports. We'll see what he thinks about how the playoff field unfolded, what happens with the sport moving forward. Jay Busby in our next segment. Brandon has continued to follow up. Brandon, appreciate the messages. There are a lot of them. Can't read them all, Swain, but is hammering home on the integrity thing with Diego Pavia. I'll repeat, if you don't like Diego Pavia, if you don't want to pull for him, you do not have to explain why. But I'm not going to rule him ineligible for the Heisman Trophy because he's arrogant and talks trash. And his brother's getting in trouble. That doesn't mean anything. I'm not aware of any kind of off-field issues with Diego other than people don't like the way that he spends some of his time, I guess, with celebrities and things like that. But I thought he was awesome this season. So if he wins the Heisman Trophy, then I will think he's deserving. If Fernando Mendoza wins it, totally understand why he's deserving of it as well. I think it's very wide open and has been all season with the Heisman Trophy.
I don't think he did anything on the football field that points to not having, integrity. I mean, trash talking is a part of the game, and one thing I don't want to do is come across as a sore loser just because he beat us.
Yeah.
Like, it's one thing to, eat your crow. It's another thing, like, come across as a bitter hater that's trying to look for a way to block that young man from winning an individual award just because you don't like him. So Johnny Manziel was more arrogant than him. Johnny Manziel actually got in trouble during his time at Texas A&M. If Diego was wearing orange and white, Tennessee fans would defend him to the end of time.
Lori texted in, I refuse to support the Heisman Trophy after they denied Peyton Manning, who was the best player in college football that year.
I understand.
I know that's a common and strong opinion as well. I also know that if Hendon Hooker had won the Heisman Trophy a few years ago, that would have been celebrated greatly by every Tennessee fan.
Oh, heck yeah, man. Heck yeah. We would celebrate it. We would be happy. But no one's going to get over what happened with Peyton. No one ever should get over what happened to Peyton. But only one person wins the Heisman. It should be, an award that the school celebrates, the team celebrates, the program celebrates, whoever wins it.
Yeah, totally agree. And then Nick with the text, which I appreciate. He says what a lot of people probably want to ignore. He said Juwan Jennings is in the spotlight every week for his trash talk and beyond, but we love him. You can't have it both ways, and that's right.
Yeah, and lately it's been more than just trash talk. It's been more beyond.
That's right.
And,
That's right.
Specifics were not given for the recent criticism in his direction. I'm afraid that if it was given, then people may have a different view of him. But, like, Juwan stepped on a Vanderbilt player's face with his cleat on the sideline. And, like, man, if another player did that on another team, like, we would crucify that player.
Right.
So I just try to take Diego and say, all right, would we have the same reaction if he was wearing orange? And that's how I kind of look at him. And the answer is no. Like, we would not look at him the same way. But some folks cannot separate their fandom from looking at the game without their fandom. And it's hard. It's not easy to do. But that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, I think Mendoza's going to win, but we'll find out coming up here in a few days. We will come back. We'll talk to Jay Busby, Yahoo Sports, find out what he thought about how the playoff field unfolded and what's happened since then, right here on Josh and Swain. This is Josh and Swain. Thanks for being with us every day. Presented by Junk Begone, East Tennessee's junk removal specialist. And we go to the Stanley Fencing and Gates hotline. We say hello to Jay Busby from Yahoo Sports. Jay, we appreciate the time as always. It's been quite another week, I guess I should say. Every week's quite a week in college football. But now that the playoff field has been selected, we've heard from Notre Dame's AD several times this week. What do you make of how it played out, how the 12 teams ended up being selected, and then with that Notre Dame's response to how it played out as well?
I mean, part of this is like The Walking Dead. You know, we're just picking through the ends of the post-apocalyptic wasteland of the college football regular season. There's only a few teams left standing, a few teams standing that shouldn't be standing, a few teams out that should be in. But it's a mess. It's absolutely a mess. And you know, this is as they say, this is a feature, not a bug, of the college football season, because we are talking about it. If we had just a straight 12 team and picked the 12 best teams, then and it was very easily regimented, that would be fine. But that's not what college football really wants, and that's not what college football should be. There should be this level of chaos and squabbling over it.
Hey, it's about playing the right ball, the best ball at the right time when you have a tournament sport like college football. Right now, Jay, who passes the eye test for you? Who's playing the best? Who is your favorite entering the college football playoff?
Yeah, I just did my picks literally just before I talked to you guys, and I put Georgia going all the way because Georgia has this way of just smothering teams in the fourth quarter. That's just it's tough to combat, and it's not pretty. There's a lot of problems with this Georgia team, but they seem to hang around close enough, unless they play out like they did Alabama, that they can go and crush the life out of you at the end. And they, in terms of what you set up, I agree with that. Whoever's playing the best ball at the end seems to be the favorite at that point. And so, yeah, Georgia looks to me like they will be. I think their toughest game will obviously be Ohio State, but yeah, they look to be the team that has the ability to do that in a way that no one else in the field can right now. But of course, I'm the guy that picked Penn State and Texas to go to the title game before the season. So take my opinions and my predictions for what they're worth.
Do something like that.
Maybe we told you, but yeah, Swain picked Texas, I picked Penn State. So you should have just heard what we said and gone Costanza and did the opposite. That would have been the right move.
Exactly. So yeah, I mean, you think about it. You look back at those. I mean, everybody's doing it, but you look back at the early season APs: Clemson, Notre Dame, Penn State, Texas. Yeah, I mean, you know, we were all just so far off, but that's what makes this sport so great.
Yeah, Swain and I were also talking about it earlier in the week, just how wild the time is right now. A quarter of the 12 teams have seen their coach take other jobs. Lane has left for his at LSU, and then you have James Madison, Tulane, with their coaches coaching, having gone to other programs already. So the sport is in such – it's always been a weird time, but it feels like more so than ever with everything that's going on, from the NIL conversation, coaching moves, and trying to get this playoff sorted out year in, year out.
Yeah, I mean, this is not a side effect. This is a direct effect of all the money that's now in the sport. There's so much money coming in, and there's so much money to be made that it's kind of addling everybody's brains. You know, everybody wants a piece of this. Everybody wants a piece of the action in terms of all the money that's available. Everyone wants to think that their team, their program is right there, just one coach away, just one 5-star away. And so it's leading to a lot of very, very dumb decisions. And yeah, I mean, you know, with all due respect to the John Sumralls and Alex Kolishes of the world, and Lane Kiffin for that matter, it's going to be fascinating to see which of these just absolutely blow up in the face, because you know at least one of them is going to. And it's going to be my prediction is the team down in Baton Rouge is going to have the most regrets after this, but you know, who knows? We'll see how it plays out.
Which division race in the NFL intrigues you the most?
Let's see. There's, you know what? They're all pretty good at this point, especially over in the AFC. Not all of them. You know, some of them are. I think the NFC South intrigues me because I'm looking to see if no one can actually win out. If they can actually relegate the entire division. But you know, there's so much, and then the AFC North is kind of the same way too. There's so much to think about in all these. The AFC South of all divisions has suddenly become not just a competitive one, but a fascinating one, with Phillip Rivers coming back, with the Houston Texans suddenly catching fire. I just wrote today about the Patriots and the Bills, because that's an interesting matchup from the standpoint that the Bills had been fighting the Patriots. They've been looking at the Patriots for so long. They got past that. They're looking up at the Chiefs. They finally get past the Chiefs as a real threat, and back to the Patriots again. It's like nothing is breaking in the Bills' favor again and again and again. So this is a crucial matchup. I didn't realize when I was doing research for this column that I just did that the Patriots have not hosted a home playoff game since 2019, Tom Brady's last year, which just seems inconceivable. It seems like they were a fixture forever, but it's been that long. So, and they are one win this weekend away from clinching a playoff berth. Maybe not a home game, but certainly a playoff berth. So, yeah, it's going to be that's a fun division to me to see how that squabbling is going to play out. But yeah, I mean, every single one of them at this point has something to say for it, and that's why the NFL breeds this kind of parity in a way that we don't see in college football. And so, it depends on. I like the sports for different reasons, but I certainly like the fact that on any given Sunday, everything can go sideways in the NFL.
If the Chiefs finally miss the playoffs and the Bills don't have to worry about them, and then all of a sudden the Patriots are back and they knock the Bills out of the playoffs this year, you want to talk about cruelty from the sports gods to the Bills fans with all the history they've had to deal with.
What in the world did Buffalo do to offend the NFL gods? Because, what kind of graveyard is the stadium built on? Whatever it might be, they have done something to offend the sports gods, because yes, that would be just beyond cruel to have not only all of their Super Bowl runs, but have to be blocked again and again and again by the same teams back and forth and back and forth.
Hey, Jay, speaking of the NFL, what do you make of the Philadelphia Eagles' recent struggles? Jalen Hurts had an awful night the other night. They're also the defending champs, and they've shown signs of being really good at different points this season in a long season, but it's been a rough go recently.
Yeah, I mean, I think that we'll need to do a full forensic investigation, a full autopsy of this team once everything is over. But something is just off, and I don't know whether it's just a regression to normality. That kind of seems to be what it is with Saquon Barkley. But whether Jalen Hurts was just playing out of his mind the last 2 years, but everything seems to be falling apart at the same point for the Eagles, and whether it's coaching or whether it's just everybody having an off year at the same time, which is also possible. It's tough to diagnose, and I know that for Eagles fans, who are famously, and Philadelphia fans are famously patient with their teams, it's a lot to deal with. But it's the thing with the NFC is it's still out there for them. They've still got a little bit of breathing room in the NFC East. They've got two teams that are pretty much out of it in that division, and then they've got a little bit of room over the Cowboys for now. But I don't have their schedule in front of me, but I know it doesn't necessarily break out all that well for Philadelphia. So, yeah, I mean, it's in front of them, but the question is whether they're gonna seize that or whether they're gonna fumble it away.
All right, I'm sure preseason you probably had an NFL pick. If you had a chance to do it all over and start today, who's your pick right now?
Yeah, I kind of went. My preseason pick was Baltimore over Green Bay, and Green Bay was looking good, was looking really bad, and now it's looking good again. So I'm going to stick with Green Bay. I think that Baltimore, we can probably safely say that they are not in it. But the Patriots look tough. The Broncos look tough. There's no real tested team up there at the top of the AFC that you can have complete confidence in. There's a lot of good teams. There's no real great teams. But in the absence of anything else, I think that Mike Vrabel has got this Patriots team set up for a good long run of the playoffs. So I will go Patriots-Packers, a rematch of one from way back when. I don't remember which number it was, where Brett Favre won.
Jay Busby, Yahoo Sports. Jay, anything you want to plug? You mentioned playoff predictions maybe coming out soon. What can people find at Yahoo right now?
Yeah, well, I mean, we've got once the playoffs begin next week, everybody's kind of catching their breath on the college football side, and then once everything gears up next week, it'll be nonstop right on through the end of the year. So come hang, fantasy football playoffs, NFL always. We've got it all for you.
Great team there at yahoosports.com. Jay Busby is part of it. Jay, thank you for the time as always. We appreciate it. We'll talk to you again soon.
Absolutely. Take care, my friends.
Thanks, Jay. Jay Busby, Yahoo Sports on the Stanley Fencing and Gates hotline. We have one segment to go on today's show. An attaboy to hand out. We'll open up the text box one more time before we go as well. With Jason Swain of VFL and former Tennessee wide receiver, I'm Josh Ward. We're presented by Junk Be Gone on Josh and Swain. Back for the final segment of Josh and Swain. Thank you for being with us. A number of items to run through here. We're going to hand out an attaboy, attagirl actually coming up in just a moment thanks to Native Design. I hate to say this, Swain, and I don't know if you've seen the video, but Indiana star defensive lineman Stephen Daly is likely to miss the remainder of the season. Kurt Signetti acknowledged his injury is significant, and it was a freak accident. He's walking around after the Big Ten championship game high-fiving fans and stepped awkwardly. His leg, I don't know how to describe it exactly, but essentially bends, and you can he starts limping. You can immediately tell something is wrong, and it appears that he suffered an injury as freakishly as it gets, high-fiving fans. He's not doing anything crazy, just an awkward step or the way he moved, and it looks like he will be lost for the rest of the season for Indiana.
Yeah, maybe like hyperextended, something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, the first time I hurt my knee was something similar. I mean, I wasn't celebrating, but I was just jogging in the spring, kind of finishing off a run, and I was not even going fast at all. I was decelerating, and my leg just kind of buckled and hyperextended, and then that was kind of the start of some issues. And so you just hate that for him because, man, that's a huge moment for that program, that team, and you want to celebrate with your fans that believed in you, and then boom, you're hurt and can't play for the rest of the season. That stinks.
Swain, one of the names we've talked about with Tennessee's defense coordinator position, Ryan Walters, has probably gotten the most attention. Well, I saw a report from On3 that Jim Knowles will not be staying at Penn State. I don't think that's a big surprise, but they will be going in a different direction with Matt Campbell coming in as the head coach, and Matt Zenitz at CBS Sports saying Jim Knowles is somebody to watch at Tennessee. He's been on lists. He was, the first name on the hot board from VolQuest earlier, so maybe pay even closer attention to Jim Knowles, who had been at Ohio State, went to Penn State this past year, veteran defense coordinator who is, it appears, going to be a free agent.
Well, I said yesterday, I mean, you want to talk to a defense coordinator that gave you trouble.
Yeah.
And he gave you trouble. When we played those guys up there in Columbus, now he had a lot of talent to work with, but listen, you're hopeful that if you're able to get a Jim Knowles, that he'll have a lot of talent to work with as well. So he's obviously really, really good at his job, and I mean, he was great against us. So Oklahoma State, he was there. Ohio State, he was at Duke for a good number of years. So
strong connections to David Cutcliffe. I don't know if that would factor in here at all, but strong connections to David Cutcliffe, having worked for him.
Well, that's all need to be said for me.
Yep. We had some Diego Pavia conversation, a few messages in the text box. A couple made me laugh. Rod said, "It irks me to say it, but I can't knock Pavia on the Heisman when we need to have him sign our permission slip to go on our field trip to the Music City Bowl."
We got to get permission from Diego if we can get there. We can go to Nashville
right now. Mm-hmm. And then Randall said this: "The award Pavia is most deserving of is the award for the most punchable face. Josh is the runner-up until the beard is back in full." That's Randall in Maryville.
That's not a nice thing to say, Randall. But I was thinking it yesterday when I was looking at your shaved beard after Ron said, "What, Josh? What happened to your face, man?"
What happened to your face? You mean the one that I've exposed?
Yeah, that one. That one.
Yep. You know what they say? If you've got it, flaunt it.
Yeah, that's why they said it, Josh. For you.
For me with this, I'm guessing that would be in the exception category. We have a few minutes to go on today's show. Thanks again for hanging out. Thanks to Joel Silverberg for producing, and you can always find us wherever you listen to your podcast. Just search Josh and Swain. Before we go, we hand out today's attaboy.
I just wanted to come by and congratulate you on the great work you've been doing.
I like your style. Remind me of a young me.
Failure is not an option.
That boy is good.
Always remind yourself, nobody built like you. You design yourself. Attaboy.
We hand out attaboys and attagirls every day thanks to Native Design. They can help your outdoor space. They can help you. They're your local custom pool and hardscape specialist. So if you are making plans for the summer, the upcoming spring and summer when the temperatures improve, the weather's better, Native Design can help. Check out nativetn.com. This person's name came up on the show yesterday, Swain. We were talking about legends on the court, but also this would go into the off-court conversation as well with the Lady Vols history. I saw from UT Sports earlier today that the NCAA has awarded Lady Vol great Tamika Catchings with the Silver Anniversary Award. She will be honored at the 2026 NCAA Convention, along with others who will be honored. The Silver Anniversary Award is presented to former student athletes 25 years after their college careers end, honoring the achievements and contributions of those who have excelled in their professional lives and continue to exemplify the values of collegiate athletics. She was a great player. She's an all-time great basketball player, and she has played a huge role in the sport of basketball as an executive, as a broadcaster, and as a great representative of the University of Tennessee. So an atta girl, and a congratulations to Tamika Catchings.
Man, she is an unbelievable person. I mean, she cares about her community. She cares about shedding light on important issues and uplifting people and making the place better than she found it. That stuff matters to Tamika, and she's made a huge impact in Knoxville with a lot of her work. Big impact in Indiana, Indianapolis, where she lives. Business owner. I mean, she's just always busy. So I'm so happy for her.
Yep, very much deserved. She's a legend for many different reasons. So an atta-girl today to Lady Vol legend Tamika Catchings, and every day we hand out attaboys and atta-girls thanks to Native Design. For 20 years, Native Design has transformed outdoor spaces into breathtaking retreats where families gather, friends connect, and memories are made. You can get an idea of some of the work that Native Design has done at their website, nativetn.com. You can call 865-310-3256 to connect with Native Design, your local custom pool and hardscape specialists. All righty, Swain.
All righty, Josh.
We'll return at noon. Maybe Tennessee will have a defensive coordinator. If not, we will talk about Tennessee's continued pursuit of a defensive coordinator. Maybe it's Jim Knowles. Maybe it's Ryan Walters. Maybe it's somebody else.
I like either one of those two guys. You know, Jim Knowles, if you can be a DC for Coach Cutcliffe and have success at Duke, I think he's worth the conversation.
Yeah, if David Cutcliffe signs off, he's a really good reference to have. I would
better believe it. You better believe it. So maybe we'll have one tomorrow. Josh, get to work.
Yep. Tennessee will or will not have hired a new defense coordinator by the time the show begins tomorrow at 12 o'clock. But I can report confidently Tennessee will have a defensive coordinator in place full-time in 2026.
Thanks, Josh.
That's what we do on the show.
Thank you, man. We've been waiting for those hard-hitting.
We do our best to entertain.
Well, we've been waiting for those hot takes, man. Glad you finally decided to give us one of those before the show ended.
No roundabouting on that one. We will be back tomorrow at 12 o'clock. Thank you for hanging out with us today. See you. Talk to you tomorrow at noon on Josh and Swain.